Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever felt like your thoughts are just scattered everywhere?
Oh, definitely. Ideas bouncing around, notes piling up.
Yeah, different places, and you struggle to connect them or really, make sense of the whole picture.
It's incredibly common. I mean, in today's information-rich world.
Right. You consume so much, but truly integrating it, building on it, letting your knowledge sort of evolve, that's the challenge.
Exactly. And that feeling, that desire to bring some clarity to that chaos, to
And
really sharpen your thinking.
that's what we're diving into today.
Yeah, our focus is on a tool designed for precisely that, a note-taking app called Obsidian.
And this deep dive is, well, it's a bit special because it's based entirely on source material provided by one of our listeners.
hmm So we're looking at how this tool is presented, what its creators and community emphasize, based specifically on those materials.
So our mission is clear. Dig into these sources, pull out the essential nuggets, and help you, our listener, understand what Obsidian claims to be.
How it works, according to these descriptions,
Mm.
and maybe why it might be valuable for someone trying to manage and connect information.
So, right at the start, the core promise we found in the source material really sets the stage. Obsidian is designed to, quote, sharpen your thinking.
Yeah, it's not just about storage. It's positioned very much as a tool for cognitive work.
That intention is interesting, and the sources immediately back it up with some core principles, right?
They do. There's a really strong emphasis on control and privacy.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, it's described as free and flexible for your private thoughts.
And the privacy aspect is really underlined. I mean, the materials state explicitly your thoughts are yours.
Totally. Your notes are stored privately on your device,
Look.
fully accessible, even offline,
And there's that striking line no one else can read them, not even us.
which is pretty significant today, with so many tools being cloud first.
Right, that commitment to privacy and local storage, it seems like a foundational pillar from these sources.
Definitely. They also suggest that because your mind is unique, the tool needs to adapt to you.
Which explains why it's highlighted as being shapeable with thousands of plugins and themes.
That speaks volumes about flexibility. It's clearly not a one-size-fits-all system they're describing.
And hand in hand with ownership, the materials stress longevity. They say your knowledge should last.
Pointing out it uses open file formats, meaning, importantly, you're never logged in.
So you own your data for the long term. Okay, so it's your data, private, on your device, in a format that should endure. That's the picture.
That's the foundation they lay out.
Okay, so we've got this foundation. Privacy, ownership, flexibility, longevity, all aimed at sharpening thinking. But how? How does it actually facilitate that sharpening, according to the sources?
Well, this is where the emphasis seems to shift from just, storing notes to actively building connections between them. The fundamental idea is creating relationship.
Like weaving a web out of your notes, is that
Mm.
the idea?
Precisely. The sources talk about links, the ability to create connections between notes almost effortlessly.
Okay.
You can link anything and everything, ideas, people, places, books, and beyond. The vision presented is to invent your own personal Wikipedia.
A personal Wikipedia that suggests moving beyond just isolated notes to a truly connected knowledge base.
Exactly. Instead of notes being separate documents, you're explicitly drawing lines between related ideas.
And the source even provides a fascinating specific example using Rene Descartes.
Yes, the Meditations on First Philosophy,
Yeah.
they reference the famous "I think, therefore I am."
Right.
And the force explains how Descartes' process of doubting everything leads him to the conclusion that the act of doubting itself requires a thinking being.
Thus confirming his existence.
Right, and crucially, the source shows how within Obsidian, you could link that specific phrase or concept not just to the meditation's note itself.
But outwards.
Yeah, outwards to related philosophical schools like rationalists and empiricists, or maybe other books that discuss Descartes. It illustrates how linking helps trace lines of reasoning or connect a specific idea to broader contexts.
That's a great example. It shows how linking isn't just filing, it's more like tracing a train of thought or connecting disparate concepts.
hmm
So you build all these links between your notes, and then what? What happens next?
Then you get to see those connections in a way that's often hard to do with just linear notes. The sources highlight the graph feature,
The graph, okay.
which visualizes the relationships across your entire vault of notes. The promise here, according to the material, is the ability to find hidden patterns in your thinking.
How so?
Through this visually engaging and interactive graph, seeing the interconnectedness of your own thoughts laid out like a map.
That sounds potentially very powerful. The sources seem to imply that just looking at the density of connections or maybe the position of notes in the graph can reveal insights you might miss otherwise.
Exactly. Finding those maybe unexpected clusters or bridges between topics.
And alongside the structured linking and the graph, the sources introduce something called Canvas. What's that about?
Canvas is described as an infinite space. It sounds like a more free-form environment
Freeform how?
for different kinds of knowledge work, things like research, brainstorming, diagramming, and laying out your ideas. It's called a limitless playground for your mind.
Ah, okay, so maybe like a visual whiteboard where you can arrange notes and ideas spatially, complementing the more structural linking.
That seems to be the idea presented, yes.
Yeah.
A different way to interact with and organize your thoughts visually.
So you have the foundational notes, the explicit links creating relationships, a dynamic graph to visualize that web, and this free-form visual space for exploration. Seems like a comprehensive set of tools.
It covers a lot of ground for building that knowledge base.
But as we touched on earlier, the sources emphasize that your mind is unique and the tool should fit your workflow.
Right, that takes us back to the flexibility principle.
And this is where the thousands of plugins come in, facilitated by an open API.
Yeah, the sources state this makes it easy to tailor Obsidian to fit your personal workflow. It's not just take it or leave it.
And the materials provide some concrete examples of these community-built plugins, which helps give a clearer picture.
They do, like the calendar by Liam Kane, which apparently gives you a visual calendar view of your daily notes.
Okay, that makes sense for daily tracking.
Or the Kanban by Matthew Myers for creating markdown-backed Kanban boards right within your notes, so project management features.
Right. They also mentioned Data View by Michael Brennan for running advanced queries to pull specific information from across your notes, almost like a database.
And Outliner by Vyacheslav Slinko for working with lists, and Tasks by Martin Schenk and Claire McRae for tracking tasks embedded across different notes.
Those examples are fascinating, aren't they?
They really are. It shows how it's not just note-taking anymore. With plugins, it seems the app can morph into a project manager, a task tracker, even a database query tool, all centered around your core notes. The insight here, based on the sources, seems to be that the core Obsidian app provides the canvas and the linking engine.
But the open API and plugins transform it into a highly personalized system, tailored to very specific needs.
Yeah, almost making the app itself kind of disappear into your personal workflow.
Okay, so the tool is deeply personal, customizable for your own private knowledge work. Do the sources mention anything about moving beyond just personal use on, say, one device?
Yes, they definitely cover how you can access your knowledge elsewhere and potentially share it. This is where sync and publish come in.
Sync, right. Sync securely is the phrase used.
For accessing your notes on any device. And they reiterate that security commitment, stating it's secured with end-to-end encryption.
Which ties back to the privacy focus.
Absolutely. Obsidian Sync, according to the materials, offers fine-grained control, letting you decide exactly which files or even preferences sync up.
So not necessarily everything.
Apparently not. You choose. It also includes version history. They mention 1 year of version history for notes, so you can track changes or revert.
That's useful.
And they mention enabling collaboration on shared files, again stressing, without compromising your private data.
So a model where you can share specific projects without exposing your entire private knowledge vault.
That's what it sounds like from the description.
Okay, and then there's publish instantly. What's the goal there?
This feature allows you to turn selected notes into something public-facing, like an online wiki, knowledge base, documentation, or digital garden.
A digital garden, interesting term. So sharing your thoughts publicly.
Selectively, yes. The sources point out the ease of this process with seamless editing, allowing you to publish your notes instantly from the Obsidian app as you work.
And you can customize the look.
Yeah, customization options like themes, custom domains, even password protection for published sites are mentioned.
And they highlight the technical side, too.
Published sites are optimized for performance, described as fast, mobile-friendly, and optimized for SEO. No configuration required.
That's quite a claim. No configuration needed.
And the source even notes that the official Obsidian help site itself is powered by Obsidian Publish.
Ah, eating their own dog food, so to speak.
Exactly. It demonstrates its use for official documentation. So the tools described let you build your personal web and curate and share aspects of it.
That's a powerful extension, taking your internal web and publishing a polished version. Finally, the published materials also touch on a community around the tool.
Yes, briefly. They list several ways users can connect and get support.
Like,
Joining Discord is mentioned for help, questions, meeting other users, learning about different setups. The discussion forum is there for feature requests, bug reports, and in-depth discussions.
so user support and development discussion.
And for those wanting to build on the platform, there are developer docs and that open API we talked about earlier for building plugins and themes. It paints a picture of an active community.
Okay, so bringing it all together for you, our listener, especially if you're someone who feels that weight of information overload, wants a better way to learn and think, what's the core takeaway from all these sources about Obsidian?
Well, based purely on everything described in these materials, the value proposition seems centered on giving you a powerful, flexible tool
That helps you move beyond just passive note-taking.
to actively building connections between your ideas, making knowledge work more dynamic.
It offers the specific tools, those links, the graph view, canvas, to help you visualize and maybe discover relationships you wouldn't normally see when information is siloed.
And crucially, because of that open API and plugin system, it aims to adapt deeply to your unique way of thinking and working, rather than forcing you into some rigid structure.
Plus, that strong emphasis on keeping your data private on your device and ensuring long-term ownership, that's a significant point made consistently in the source material.
It really is. And finally, it provides flexible options for accessing your knowledge across devices via sync, or selectively sharing it with the world via publish, always keeping you in control.
It really seems designed around taking all these disparate thoughts and sources.
And helping you actively weave them into a dynamic, interconnected web of knowledge.
Fully earned and controlled by you.
Yeah, that's the core message from these sources.
And perhaps the most thought-provoking idea stemming directly from this source material's emphasis on linking concepts, visualizing your knowledge web with the graph, and that principle of owning your data. Consider how the act of deliberately linking different pieces of information, much like Descartes connected doubt to existence in the example, might not just organize what you already know.
Okay.
What if the process of forging those connections, or maybe seeing the unexpected shape they form in the graph view, could actually lead to entirely new ideas, or insights you wouldn't have stumbled upon otherwise?
Ah, so the linking itself becomes generative,
Yeah.
potentially.
Potentially. What might you discover if you could truly see the intricate connections within your own mind's contents reflected in your knowledge web?
That's definitely something to ponder.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.